here are 5 reasons why you should choose the X-S20 in 2023. So Fujifilm have come out with yet another camera, and they have described it as a lightweight camera when you need it that disappears into your backpack when you don't, and its small footprint makes a big impact. So these are just a couple of phrases Fujifilm have used to promote their new X-S20. And after a month of use, I have finally put together this review. So here are all my thoughts, and here are 5 reasons why I think you should choose this phenomenal little camera. I'm also going to weigh up this review with a few cons also, plus who this is for and my final thoughts. So let's waste no time and give you the first positive reason why you should buy this camera. The video specs. The video specs in this camera are outstanding for the price point. There's not many other cameras I know that can shoot in 6.2K open gate for this price. The X-S10 could only shoot in 4K 30. This is a massive improvement on this XS series. It can also shoot in 4K 60. This is all possible in 422 10-bit internally, and you can also combine the X-S20 with an Atomos HDMI monitor recorder to record raw video output as 12-bit Apple ProRes RAW at resolutions up to 6.2K 30 frames per second. So when choosing this camera, this was a no-brainer when I needed a backup camera, but it's soon becoming my go-to pick-me-up. I use this more often than I thought, and I'm loving it so far. Also with the X-S10 you had a recording limit of 30 minutes. With this is unlimited recording time, so as long as you have enough juice in your battery or your camera doesn't overheat, this thing can record for as long as you want. Okay, the second thing to note and why I chose this camera was because of the battery. It now uses an MPW235 battery, which means it's double the life of what the X-S10 was. So this thing's gonna last twice as long, basically. So in normal mode, you can now shoot 750 frames, whereas in the X-S10, it was only 350. And if you put it in economy mode, you can shoot up to 800. So this thing can really last all day. And it's perfect if you have something like the X-H2S, because then you know all of your batteries fit the same system. So a huge plus in my book. It may seem small to others, but for me, like I've said in previous videos, I don't want the anxiety of worrying about, have I got enough juice in my battery? So thank you Fujifilm for sorting that out. Okay, so the third reason is the ergonomics. The ergonomics in this camera, I think, are superior. And because we're getting that new MPW235 battery, we get a deeper grip, which means it's so much more comfortable to hold this thing, especially if you're using it all day for recreational or work purposes, which is fantastic if you have, you know, bigger hands like myself. You can really get a good full grip on this thing. And not only that, it's so lightweight. It's only 491 grams with the battery, so you're not going to tire out holding this thing. The way the camera is designed is perfect to customize and set up for beginners or professionals. Fujifilm have balanced this thing so well. But not only that, it has articulated screen, it has 4 customizable settings, vlog mode, auto mode, which we'll come to in a bit. It has all its usual bells and whistles, and it's pretty customizable. So from an ergonomic standpoint, I think this is fantastic. It's set up so well for a beginner, but also someone who is used to Fujifilm's systems and can easily adapt to something new like this. So a perfectly curated little camera here for you to get your hands on. Also, which is a cool little feature, which I've mentioned already, comes with a flash. This is fantastic. Again, I don't know many cameras at this price point that has one of these. Cool. I have to take my hat off to Fujifilm for this one. This one, in terms of ergonomics, I like it. I like it a lot. So the fourth reason is it's beginner friendly. If you were just starting out in videography or photography, then I think that this could be a good place to start. If you are a beginner who is starting to take it a little bit more seriously, but can't and don't, and you shouldn't really spend out on something like the X-H2S, then this is a great alternative. It still packs such a heavy punch for what you're paying for it, but also you're not paying for something so cheap that it's not going to be any good in a few years. This you could buy, and I'm pretty sure that this could last a hell of a long time, and you would definitely get a lot of bang for your buck. Now, the reason why I say this is beginner friendly is because it has 3 new features. So the first feature is the new vlog feature. You can basically turn the dial to vlog and start shooting straight away. It's almost ready to go straight over the box. And you can also use the touchscreen to dial in your settings. So they've made it super easy for you to just get going. The second pretty cool feature is you can use the product priority mode. That just means if you're showing something off like this, like in a review as we're doing, you can show it to camera. It will use its new clever autofocus to dial in on the product and then back to your face. It will tell when you're talking about the product and then when you're talking yourself. So that's a cool little feature and something particularly necessary for content creators. And the last feature is the background defocus mode. This just means you can get all that bokeh in the background with one touch of the button. They are making it so easy for people to use cameras, and I think that's what the great thing is. It's giving everyone a chance to use a camera and get what they see on YouTube, in films, whatever, to emulate that kind of style and do it for themselves. And you know, there might be a lot of critics out there, but if it lets people just have an in and then learn more of the advanced kind of ways of going about this, then who cares? They're a bit gimmicky in one sense, but if it helps people, like I said, get into this medium, then I'm all for that. So my 5th and last reason is the X Processor 5. This is just double the process speed of the X Processor 4. So it's reading all that information just so much more quicker, and it's making everything just faster. It also has that new AI processing technology, which is deep learning. So it's basically, as it goes along, it just learns and learns and teaches itself. So, I mean, AI it's pretty scary on one level of how good it is, but it's coming and it's already in our cameras. And it just reduces consumption, which just means it can be more economic. They really have put a lot under the bonnet of this camera, and I, for one, am so impressed. Look, 1,200 quid is not cheap, but it's a good entry level for people really want to start taking this seriously, and for content creators alike. I think it's just a great place, especially for hybrid shooters as well, for photo and videography. It's just a powerhouse. I honestly love it. So far, this month has been a joy. Sue me. No, don't sue me. Okay, so here are the cons, and some of you might have just skipped this bit anyway, so hi and welcome. The cons about this camera. Number 1, it's not weather resistant. If you live in rainy old England at times, then you could definitely be caught with a bit of a soggy camera. So be careful out there. If you don't know this, make sure that you have got the right protection. Make sure you've got a good bag. Put it away when it does start to rain heavily. But like I said, it's, it can obviously withstand a bit of spit, but be careful with your gear. It's expensive. The second thing it doesn't have is a dual card slot holder. It only has the one, which is fine. That just means you need to buy yourself a bigger SD card, which is like 256 gig or something. So it's fine, but it's always nice and appreciated if there is a backup SD in case the first one fails as well. So yeah, that's not great, but is it a deal breaker? No. And the last thing, and probably the thing that's probably most talked about with this camera, is the overheating. Yeah, it overheats. It's not like the X-H2S. I'm using the X-H2S right now, and It's running absolutely fine. It's purring. It's just enjoying the ride. This wouldn't. This would probably overheat and, you know, have to shut down. That's no different to something like the X-T4 recorded on the X-T5. I don't know what that's like. There is a way around this. You can buy the fan, but I think for like 200 bucks, that's what that costs, so that's not cheap. You know, then you start thinking, well, why don't I just buy the X-H2S? So yeah, the overheating is an issue. I've seen already people say in some of my comments, you know, that's why they wouldn't buy it. It actually hasn't overheated for me yet, so I'm okay, I'm good. So having said all those cons, does it deter me? Does it deter you? Let me know. But it didn't deter me. I still love this thing. I think it's great. I know in my mind what I want from this camera. I'm not looking to shoot long form YouTube videos. That's my X-H2S camera. But if I am looking to, you know, take this on holiday and shoot pictures of my family, friends, vacations, all that kind of stuff, you know, even work, social media, then this is what I'll use. Leads me to the point of who is this for? Content creators. It's for people who are looking maybe for an entry-level, really good camera, a good starter camera, so they can start making maybe short films, maybe start, you know, working on a social media account, maybe using the 19 Fujifilm film simulations. It's really hard to say, I always mess that up. That's something that you could use this camera for. It's really got a lot going for it, this camera. I'm biased maybe because I have it. These are my honest opinions, no one's paying me. Would I recommend this camera? Of course. You can tell by the way I'm talking about this video, this is a great camera. Would I recommend it for someone who wants to shoot long form YouTube videos, like 30 minutes plus, or, you know, podcasts and stuff? No, this is not for that. This is for your daily use content creation. Pick it up when and as you go. It's a beast in that sense. It's not your workhorse. That's the only issue. It's not gonna really outdo something like the XH series. You always have to ask yourself before you buy a camera, what are my needs and what do I need it for? I hope that in this video I've answered some of those questions. If I haven't, drop me a question in the comments. I love chatting to the community that we've built on here and talking about gear. So yeah, great. I really do hope that you consider this little camera. Keep rocking in the free world, stay groovy, make some waves, as I always used to say, and of course, I'll see you in the next one.